What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video here on the channel. Well, I want to give you an update on what's happening with Rndr because it's been about a week since the last update, and I want to let you know some of my most recent moves. And so with that said, let's not waste any more time at all, and let's get straight into the video. Now, jumping over to Rndr here, what we can see is that its price is still within that rough range that we've been in for the last week or so. So not too much has happened, but we are starting to get some pretty interesting developments here. What I will let you know is that what I've done the most recently is I actually did pick up a little bit more Rndr around that $5.80 mark, around that level of support that I told you all about. You know, as Rndr's price was starting to pull to the downside, I said, look, if Rndr's price does lose this structure, I'm going to be buying some at every one of these key levels of support that we've established over the last few months. And that's just served me pretty well. Of course, we got a bounce off of this one, we got a little bounce off of this one, bounce off that one, and we're currently in a bounce off of this one, in which the purchases that were done at 580 are now currently sitting up about 7-8%, at one point being up 10 to 15%. So not too bad, but definitely not a ton of action here from Rndr. But what I wanted to make this video about today and really focus on was the fact that it seems as if Rndr is starting to put in some bottoming structure. Not only from the fact that we are maintaining some support on top of these key levels of support that we have back here, but also the fact that what we're seeing on our RSI is starting to look really bullish to me. As you can see here, we have consistently been putting in lower low after lower low on Rndr's price, but in the meantime, our RSI has been putting in slightly higher lows. And what that generally is a sign of is that although the price is falling, momentum is changing. And when momentum starts to change, it can be an early precursor to show that we may actually start to see a bit of a reversal in direction once that momentum does reach its fullest potential. And on top of that, if we do actually just look at the structure itself that we are creating right now, we are putting in descending structure. Of course, we are putting in lower highs like so, and we are putting in lower lows like so. And of course, what's interesting about this is, generally speaking, when a crypto is bottoming out, it's putting in descending structure like this. Descending structure has a very high frequency of breaking to the upside, something like that. Just like ascending structure, which looks like this, typically breaks to the downside, descending structure typically breaks to the upside. And so now that I see the fact that Rndr is holding some support on top of these crucial zones of support here, the fact that its RSI is showing us that momentum is shifting, and the fact that what we're seeing on the 4-hour charts is some descending structure, I am getting more and more in higher conviction that I think we are seeing Rndr starting to find a bottom here, and it could possibly be making a move to the upside. Now, the only risk that I am paying attention to is the fact that this could just be a macro backtest. Like, if I remove all of this and look at it from this perspective, what we could be seeing is that this little zone of support right here, this zone of support right here, could be getting flipped at this very moment. So it's like this little zone of what was support, now that it has been lost, could be getting flipped into a resistance zone that may force us to the downside. That is the biggest risk that Rndr is facing right now, and I would say there's like a 25% chance of this happening. That's a pretty substantial chance. And so no, although my conviction is getting higher and higher that Rndr is putting in a bottom, you can't really differentiate these from back tests without having a lot more macro structure, which we don't have right now. And so because of that, what I'm doing is I have upped my rate of accumulation for Rndr. I have started buying some more, but I'm not going ape shit just yet. I'm not buying a ton because I am still paying close attention to the fact that we could see one more strong push to the downside if we get rejected off this previous point of support. So of course I will continue to update you as this does play out, but I really just want to let you know that, look, I'm getting more bullish. I'm liking the structure, I'm liking the change in momentum, I'm liking all these things, but I'm definitely not going over the moon quite yet. I'm not dumping all of my cash in this thing quite yet, because there is still that risk that is worth paying attention to, of course. So again, I will continue to update you 2-3 times a week optimally on what's happening with Rndr's price. And if you do enjoy these updates, all I need you to do to let me know is just smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new. You can also check out my private Discord server, which is down below if that interests you, and I can't wait to see you all very soon. Peace out, everybody.